it's gold.
I've been tired of trying to tell you about the same thing, just for you to turn around and do the same shit. I don't wanna talk about it later, it's given, I don't give a fuck. I don't wanna play these games, don't give a fuck if you feel away.
I have no control. I have no control. Don't come running back. Don't come running back. I know you need me. I have no control. I have no control. Don't come running back. Don't come running back. I know you need me.
I've been tired of trying to tell you about the same thing, just for you to turn around and do the same shit. I don't wanna talk about it later, it's given, I don't give a fuck. I don't wanna play these games, don't give a fuck if you feel away. I've been tired of trying to tell you about the same thing, just for you to turn around and do the same shit. I don't wanna talk about it later, it's given, I don't give a fuck. I don't wanna play these games, don't give a fuck if you feel away. I've been tired of trying to tell you about the same thing, just for you to turn around and do the same shit.
I know you want this gold.
Tell me that you miss me. Tell me that you miss me. Tell me that you miss me.
I know you want this gold.
I've been tired of trying to tell you about the same thing, just for you to turn around and do the same shit. I don't wanna talk about it later, it's given, I don't give a fuck. I don't wanna play these games, don't give a fuck if you feel away.
I have no control. I have no control. Don't come running back. Don't come running back. I know you need me. I have no control.
fuck if you feel the way. I've been tired of trying to tell you about the same thing, just for you to turn around and do the same shit. I don't wanna talk about it later, it's given, I don't give a fuck. I don't wanna play these games, don't give a fuck if you feel the way. I've been tired of trying to tell you about the same thing, just for you to turn around and do the same shit.
I know you want this gold.
Tell me that you miss me.
What's up, beautiful people? Happy Sunday. We are live this beautiful afternoon. It's kind of muggy on the East Coast. Not sure how everyone else is doing. Yeah. I literally I low-key kind of woke up from a nap not too long ago. I ain't even gonna hold you. I kind of woke up from a nap today. So I kind of need to like adjust. How's the lighting? It looks so extra bright. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, too bright. Let's bring it down some. I don't understand why YouTube like stretches out I don't know. The control sensor, it just looks weird. I don't understand why does it look like this. Anyway, so today what I was going to do is do a little bit of a focus on the behind the scenes of my latest single, WTG, and just kind of open up the project files and essentially show how I came up with everything. So today's gonna be pretty chill, pretty lax. The chat's a little quiet. I wish I had like a sound effect for like crickets. Chat's a little quiet, which is perfectly fine, because anybody and everybody can catch the replay of this later on. What do I have going on? I performed this past Friday at the Road Music Festival. That was really, really fun. Definitely enjoyed it. I had the opportunity of actually opening up the entire festival. It's a 3-day festival. Actually, today is the last day of the festival. I need to post about that. Be supportive of the other bands that are performing this final day. And I had a great time. Genuinely had a great time. Had an opportunity to perform my live version of that single. And I actually have some footage from the performance, which I'm happy to at some point release. I need to actually watch it and like line up the audio. I had like separate audio recorded. I don't know. I'm not too sure how like camera audio sounds. You guys know, like I like the audio to like sound good. So that's really a big deal for me. So I still have to review that. I've been kind of like chillaxing for the most part before hopping into the week and getting started on my goals and all that good shit. So yeah, that was great. What else? Yeah, I have a few more things that I want to do for the single aside from heavily promoting it or getting back on the bandwagon of heavily promoting it. I am trying to work on a music video of some kind for it. We're still in like the conception, the concept stage of it, or just kind of figuring out like creatively what we want it to look like. And yeah, I have some tea brewing off in the background. Let me go ahead and share my screen right quick. Bam! What's up, love? How are you? I'm actually, let me see. Let's turn that off. Actually, we can delete that. I decided to go full screen today so that we can see my DAW. Oh God, it's hot as hell in here. I go through this phase in my apartment where it's really hot outside, so I'll turn on the AC. But then I'll get really, really cold and I'll turn off the AC, but it stays cold, but I'm still cold. And then psychotically in the middle of summer, I'll turn on the heat for like 2 seconds just to bring the temperature up. But then now I'm hot. It's a constant fucking battle. I don't know why I do this to myself. What's up, y'all? See some new names. Creos, what's up, love? How are you? Sir? Is that your name? Sir? S /R, I'm going to assume that your name is Sir. Is that how we're saying it? Senior? Senior? I don't know. Let me know how you pronounce. Is it Sir or is it Senior? I'm not sure. Thank you guys for coming through on the chat. Like I said before, if you didn't get a chance to catch the intro, Bam says, "Oh hell no." Are you referring to me turning on the heat randomly? I wouldn't be surprised because that's psychotic. But as I said before, I guess you guys might have chimed in. I'm gonna go through the my project files for my single. It's across 2 projects, one for the instrumental, one for the vocal processing, and it's a total of about 130. That's my best guess, 130 tracks between 2 projects. Yeah, I know. Bam, I'm about to turn the AC back on. Because I just needed it to go up like 2 degrees because I was cold and I didn't want to wait for it to naturally just, I know. Turn the background music on. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to bring my screen up. And where shall we start? Let's start with the instrumental, right? Let's open that up. And we'll kick it off from there while my project loads, of course. I have a set of trial Sound Toys plugins, but then I actually have the actual plugins from Sound Toys, but for some reason it didn't uninstall the trial versions, which is why I get that weird message pop up. I don't know how long this is going to take to load. All right, so we got the project up. Actually, if you guys give me like 2 seconds, let me just go get my tea for a quick minute. Software update? No, we're streaming. All right, guys, hold on for 2 seconds. Okay, back at it. I need to figure out a way. How do I keep my chat on the screen so that I can see what you guys are saying? What's up, J-Mo? Happy Sunday. What's up with you? So this isn't gonna work. Let me open up the chat on my other computer. Command Central that's running the stream. Oh, not me not plugging in the computer. I did that the last time. I'm fucking bugging. There we go. All right, so let me get the chat open on the other screen first. That way I can keep it off the main screen so you guys can see the entire project. How's your Sunday going so far? By the way, Bam, I turned on the AC. Psychotic. I turned on the AC. My utility company is just gonna be so confused when they're like sending me out the bill and both the electric and the gas is triggered. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, ma'am? Okay. All right. Pop out chat. Can I close this window? I think this should still work. I think we're good. All right, so I have it opened on the other screen. So for the time being, I'm just going to minimize this one. Okay, cool. So WTG. This is the instrumental project. I kind of previewed it a little bit during the review stream on Wednesday. A lot of the muted tracks down here, they're just like reference tracks because I had the lyrics and I wanted the instrumental to go a certain way around the lyrics. So I did record some raw vocals in here that were eventually muted just for the sake of structuring the instrumental itself. I'm going to have to manually zoom in and out, or at least with the mouse, because my mouse has been acting really weird lately and it's like, things just want me to spend money all the time. Let's see. So, how about I just kind of briefly play through the instrumental while we're here? Oh, by the way, headphones highly recommended for this stream, unless you're listening to stereo speakers. Hey, Tyrone, what's up? Thoughty gang. Who's Thoughty gang? What? I'm confused. What are you saying, Tyrone? So I would say this is a fairly long production, if you will. As you can see, I have a lot of it. I'm wondering if I need to remove my face from this. Yeah, let's remove my face from this for the time being so you guys can see everything. As you can see at the top, like up here, I do have things labeled per section of every song. As you can see, I have one tempo that starts off at the beginning. If I just bring the marker over here. So over here is a tempo of 116 at the top, and then you'll see an automation change right here at bar 31, which is the tempo change slash intro, official intro for the second part, right? So there's the actual intro, which is which is in 116 BPM in this section here, and then once we hit the tempo change, we have like a shorter intro to introduce like that new section, which is from over here, right? Which starts the official idea of what the track is gonna be. And then throughout the song, as you'll see from the markers up top, I do have them labeled out: verse 1A, verse 1B, the pre-chorus, chorus, verse 2A, 2B. Once we get into the lyrics portion of it, like where I did the vocal recording, you'll kind of understand why I labeled it that way, right? Because it's still verse 1, but the way that I did like the melodic songwriting is why I label it 1A, 1B, and then for verse 2, it's the same thing where it's like 2A, 2B. Let me see what you guys are saying. Told you, half thoughts is such a catchy phrase. Oh, thought. Oh, okay, I got you. Girl, we thought game, thought gurus, something like that. We also have thoughts. I would love to hear any and every thoughts and questions that you guys may or may not have throughout any of this. So let's just start from the beginning to the end. So the original idea for this song it started off with a bass line, right? And the bass line is actually played. The idea for the bass line comes in around the tempo change, which is like over here. If I actually solo that out. So the entire inspiration for the song kind of came from me messing around with the Moog Minotaur. And I just had this little funky little bass line that I really liked. And I wrote everything around it. And I kind of figured I really wanted to like go overboard and produce the shit out of it. So everything else was inspired off of that. And of course I would get a phone call midstream. But yeah, so the inspiration for the song came from that bass line. So I figured, how can we make this cinematic? So for the first intro synth that you guys hear over here, all right, we just solo this out. I didn't do anything for this. This is just a Pigments preset. If it can open up, it's gonna take a little while. So the preset for this is called Free Fall. There's a little asterisk here, so I did some changes. I forget what I took out of it. I did some type of change to the original sound of it. I just really liked the feel of it, right? And as far as EQing, I did absolutely no EQing for this at all. As you can see, there's like literally nothing on this chain. And the main reason for that was because, well, there's nothing else going on in this section of the song that would require me to do any EQing anyway. It's not like it has to compete with any other part of the song. And then the next section that kind of came from that was the intro synth too. I have a lot of fucking synths that's happening here. And it's literally the same exact chord progression as like that first intro. Only this time I've expanded the chords. So if I kind of go into the MIDI here, let's see. So turn off the button. So if you can see, these are just kind of like single notes to like kick it off, right? That first section here. Let's kind of bring this down. Let's see, what's Tyrone saying? Moog Minotaur, watch the flex. It's not a flex at all, baby. This is just how I do. It's just me. So as I was saying, so the first set is like single notes, and then over here for the intro chord, I just added the fifth. And the reason that behind that is just to kind of thicken up the sound. So if I go in from here, moving forward, it like slowly thickens out the chord, and it kind of creates the feeling of growing the track when you add like an extra portion of that chord in there. Let me see. I see, Thomas, I'm not gonna lie, a 32 bar intro is hella fire. Yeah, I don't know who the hell I thought I was with a 32 bar intro. It just came to me. But I figured there was enough interest. I figured there was enough interesting things happening within the first 32 bars that by the time I hit the second intro, you guys wouldn't be too bored, or like the average person wouldn't be too bored with it. Drama King, what's up, baby? I see you. How do you EQ on BandLab? I use the EQs that are in BandLab has plugins and stuff that you can use. It depends on what you're EQing. That's if you mean like the technical part of it. I mean, they absolutely have a couple different types of EQs that you can use within BandLab, but how to EQ something in particular just kind of depends on that something that you're working on. Okie dukes. And I don't know, I was messing around one day and I kind of did this random ass like, I don't know, like melody. that I thought really nice, that I thought sounded really nice. And then a counter melody. So there are two melodies that I kind of go in and out of throughout the entire song. Let's close this out. I don't think at any point in time they're playing at the same time. Let me see. There's so much shit going on here, guys. Yeah, I don't think, looking at some of these that are muted over here. Yeah, from what I can tell, I'm pretty sure the melody and the counter melody don't ever play at the same time, which is kind of how you can add like melodic interest to your tracks. So if we kind of put those together, and then the pulse strings, those are my favorite. These right here is kind of where it starts to ramp up the energy. These I love. Let's see, it all started on an IG post. Remember when you first posted it? I am drawing a blank. I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. It's my Sunday brain. I literally took a nap. I legit took a nap and then woke up like 10 minutes before the stream and just like turned everything on. So forgive me. Let's see. All right, so these strings right here, these fucking heavenly strings. And once you kind of have everything together by that point, it just really just like starts building out this really intense picture. So these strings, I use UJam's strings plugin, which I don't know if I altered anything. I think this is just a preset for this. So I didn't do anything. Well, no, lies. I did EQ this a little bit. So pull up the, it's just the stock EQ for Logic. And all I really did was just a low cut around the 40 hertz area here. And mainly because the bass was going to kick in here. So I have a sub bass that comes in. I feel like you can definitely hear this headphones, proper speakers. Not sure if you can hear it on your phone if you're watching it on your phone. And then I also added this bass. And the reason why I added two basses on top of each other was this one has a higher likelihood of being heard on your phone speaker. So like the sub bass, you're not hearing it on your phone. If you're watching this video on your phone, you're more than likely probably not going to hear it unless you really turn it up and you like hold it close to your ear. But this one, it doesn't have as much like sub bass information, so it's more than likely going to come through or punch through these pathetic like phone speakers. Because sometimes I know like people tend to just kind of click shit and listen to it off of their phone, and it's kind of, you know, as a musician, it kind of low-key sucks, right? And you add these two together, they don't really conflict. Do they not conflict? I think I do something to make these not conflict? I did. So for this one, I sampled it off of the Moog. I couldn't even recreate this fucking sample off God. On God, I could not recreate the sample. So I put in a stock EQ. I took out all of the highs, left all of the low information. I added a distortion to kind of really drive it. So without it, it's not as like punchy, I feel. This is all just stock plugins. And then I also added in a Rosetta EQ. What did I do with this? Oh yeah, I added more bottom to this. So from Help Me Devon, downloaded this. This is kind of like a nice EQ. You can do this with like a regular, any regular stock plugin, but it's nice to just have something like quick and easy. So I just kind of pumped up the warmth. I boosted the bottom a bit. Did I do anything subtractive? No, I didn't do anything subtractive. So I just added more bottom and added more warmth to that, which is what I did for the sub bass. And then for the bass that I layered on top of it, which is a little brighter, I did the same EQ, took out all of the highs. And the main reason I took out a lot of these highs is because you have all of these other strings playing along as well, so you want to create the room up top for them to exist. Oh, I was on the wrong EQ. That was for the sub. Same thing now. For the intro bass, to correct myself, this is what the EQ looks like. I took out the sub information so that the other sub bass has room to exist, and I still took out the highs so that the strings have room to exist. And I also added in this gain utility. It's also a stock plugin. And what I did here is, if you guys see this little button here, this little phase invert, I turned these on so that to avoid any phase cancellation with the other bass, so that you can actually hear it, because if it starts to phase cancel, then it literally cancels itself out in the sense of like, you physically will not hear shit. I love that plugin, swear to God, but out of respect for you, Jam, I won't get the crack. Honestly, I don't even bother with crack plugins anymore, because the split second that any computer does any type of update, like a 10.0.2 update, you are shit out of luck. I'm sorry. The years of crack plugins, that's just dead. It's only because computers, especially on an Apple system, when they do like micro updates, those micro updates will fuck up with every single crack plugin that you have, like easily. Like honestly, use what you have until you can say like, oh, I need this. Like my skill set has gotten so much better that my stock shit just doesn't cut it anymore. And then just look into what you think you truly really need. I think altogether in this section should sound like this. How do I feel about OCC for bass? I've never used it. I don't even know what that is. Not even gonna hold you. Don't even know what it is. There's something else happening here. Oh yeah, transition that's happening here to kind of take you into whatchamacallit. If you guys have headphones in, you should be able to hear it kind of go back and forth for that effect. I don't know where I got this. I definitely got this off a splice, just through a riser, transition, whatever. And then I did some automation with the tremolo. Again, another stock plugin, in which I threw that on there so that it gives the effect of going back and forth. And then I increased the gain, just the gain. Oh yeah, and the rate. So let's see. Manually zoom in this bitch. Come on. So let's see. So for this, I increased the rate, which increases how fast it's going between the left and right speaker. And then I also gently increased the volume over that time too. So it kind of builds into the drop. So if I put that like solo again, it's like slowly getting louder. And if I were to turn these off, it naturally gets louder. But like I wanted it to actually get louder. So Mac's a little different on the Windows than Windows on that update. Okay. But it still holds true though, doesn't it? Like if Windows does like some type of update. I mean, I guess you can choose whether or not you do updates. That's a discretionary thing. I don't have my Mac set to do automatic updates because sometimes those updates do mess up with some plugins and they do mess up with like some versions of Logic. Or at least I don't update Logic as often. I don't even think I updated this to the Atmos version. Yeah, my main computer does not have the latest Logic Pro update for shit. Let me see. 10.74. I'm pretty sure it's past that. I have not updated it, and for good fucking reason. I just don't. I probably will at some point. Now that I'm done with this project and I don't have to like be concerned about it messing up. Let's turn off these automation lanes. Whoops. All right, so let me see. Also, the quality of Logic stock plugins compared to most DAWs, most other DAWs, is pretty big. No, it's really nice. I like using. I found pretty good use out of a lot of the stock plugins. Why isn't this smaller? All right, so the main portion, we've arrived. Now, a lot of the drum parts were sampled off of the Roland, as far as the drums go. Let's see. I don't know what's soloed. Let's kick it off from over here. All right, so what's happening in this particular section? Well, we have our bass, which was the foundation of everything, as far as the inspiration of it all. Got the kick. I sampled this off of the Roland that's on my desk, the Roland 808. Also, I think all of the drums. And the snare kind of gave it wait, is that part of the project? Yes. I think I layered my snares. Yeah, that's what I did. Definitely layered my snares. And then with the bass. So it's kind of nice and funky. It has a nice bounce to it. And if you like kind of notice how I have things labeled, there's like a kick too. I try to do different kick patterns for different sections of the song. So we have this portion. And then if I were to move to like over here to add some energy, there's some hi-hats. And then once the verse comes in, where my vocals come in, then I drop those parts out and it's just kick. Can't believe I barely made it out alive. You had me lost and caught up in your lies. Yeah. Right, so that's kind of the reason why I had those reference tracks underneath it, like vocal takes, because I do want I want the drum programming to align with like how I've written a song, right? You want the energy to drop and then you want the energy to come back up when you like start like getting into the song. And like maybe most people won't even really notice that the drum changes, but like you'll feel it, right? If you listen to the instrumental, you'll naturally get like that, those clues of where the parts are supposed to be. Why don't I have my light on? There we go. Now I'm a good YouTuber. Let me see. We use some of the same techniques with our basses. Da-da-da-da. Also the quality of... Oh, I already read that. I believe someone said last stream that your song reminds them of Chris Isaac. I swear I can hear it now. The beat is so California. amazing compliments to people that I myself am not familiar with. Isn't it amazing? You'd be surprised how much I don't listen to compared to how much I make. Agreed, drums should sound organic. This should be an extension of the lead singer. Yeah, for sure. And then I also feel like the drums are the heartbeat of everything. All right, so let's kind of stay in this section a little bit, kind of go over what's happening. So aside from the drums, we have classic pad going with that synth up top before. And then we have this nice and bouncy chords. And then, can't believe I barely made it out alive. Right. And you kind of, for when the verse comes in, I did drop out like a lot in this particular section. So you come in from something that has like high energy and then you drop everything out. Right. Can't believe I barely made it out alive. Had me lost and caught up in your lies. Yeah. Feel me? What am I using here? I put in now the one why did I do different tracks? So I like the pad because I feel like it adds like a nice like bottom, like smooth bottom and shit. This is a stock plugin from Logic. All of these plugins here that are opened, that's Logic. I didn't do anything with these other than add the Rosetta EQ at the end, add a little bit of clarity, add some air, and I took out some of the muddiness and I tucked it into the mix. That's all I did with that. Made my life easier. Did I push it into anything? And then this is like an automatic like bus routing that Logic does. I didn't do anything with that, so I didn't push anything into like a reverb or anything like that. I just felt like by itself it sounded really nice, and plus I didn't want to do too much because I know that I was gonna like layer it up with a bunch of shite. And then also in this section too, that lead that we heard, it's still in there too. Kind of bring that in every once in a while. So just kind of tie it to what you heard in the beginning. And you'll also hear like reverse da-da-da-das for transition purposes. In this particular section, I doubled it up. I have two different risers here. I felt like I liked the sound of it. I don't know. It's very minute. It's very small. And then I didn't do that for every one of those. I didn't layer up the risers for everything. Oh God, what did I do? Yeah, I don't think I layered the risers up like that. I think it was just that intro one that I layered it up like that. Other than that, no. Doesn't look like it. It just looks like either a big transition-ish and then like kind of like a semi-smaller one. What am I doing? Zoom out of here. Skink. Also, those reverse transitions, splice. Stuff like that, like sound design stuff, splice it out. Let's see what else we got going on here. That's kind of it. Let's see. The bass, how did I process that? So this was, again, sampled from the Moog. I hit it with a basic channel EQ. I kind of brought this resonance out right here because I liked how it sounded. Cut out the highs. And then added some distortion, stock distortion. Not too much drive, right? Oh, did you guys see that? Is my face in the way? Low-key. My bad. But yeah, added the stock distortion plugin. And then again, I use this plugin a lot throughout this project. Not even gonna hold you. Added some bottom, added some warmth. I'm pretty sure I copied and pasted this preset across the entire bass everywhere. And then a little bit of Pro Q3. I didn't do anything with this plugin. Why is this on here? All right, clearly I did nothing on here. So I don't know why that's there wasting CPU, but whatevs. And then how did I process the drums? Let's talk about the drums. Of course my mouse would not. Why are you playing games? My mouse struggles all the time. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so what do we do with the kick? The kick, I mean, I must have used this everywhere. I felt like the kick by itself sounded really nice coming out the Roland. Let me bring up the volume. I mean, it's simple shit. Like there really shouldn't be much happening. Now, even though I did sample this out of the Roland, I did do some intricate shit. So if you'll notice, you have some sound waves that are a little bit like, move my face off of this. You have some of these are a little bit smaller or bigger in comparative. So it's the same sample copied and pasted over to one another. But what I did was reduce the gain of the accent drum. So you kind of have like a ghost kick. So this kick over here, if you look over here in this channel strip, in this top corner, it says -6, dB. And then the one right after it is -3, right? So it's quiet and then loud to kind of give like that push-pull feeling. Duh, duh. Duh, duh. And honestly, this is it's meant to add bounce. And it's also low-key meant to mimic like what a heartbeat would feel that. Do-do, do-do, do-do. Feel me? What else did I do to this thing? Mad basic. I think I copied and pasted this preset like everywhere. I took out the muddiness, took out a little bit of the lows. I was just really lazy when it comes to EQing a lot of this stuff, which is why I use the Rosetta EQ a lot throughout this project. You could have easily done this with any EQ. You could have done a lot of this stuff with stock plugins. You could do it with the Pro Q3, but this was just like straight to the point, clean my shit up. Let me not think about it so I can get to the point of this track. So increase the clarity, add a little bit of bite, some presence, added some bottom to it. What does it sound like without it is the question. It's so minimal. It's very minimal. Even as I'm listening to it, it's such a minor difference. But I think if anything, you'd more than likely be able to hear the difference, like maybe in the mix. Yeah, I mean, I noticed the difference. I felt like it kind of got lost in the mix a little bit without some of that help. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Please Google Chris Isaac. Like, take 10 seconds. I won't. Because Chris Isaac sounds like somebody that's signed. I don't want to get flagged again on my streams. I will afterwards, for sure. OMF. Oh my fucking God. It says Tyrone. This is the reason why Windows users have so many crack plugins. Like I said, Logic stock plugins are superior to almost anything out there, proving my point. That's also why I get viruses like 10 times more. Like, tell me I'm wrong. Okay, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Y'all don't get more viruses. I don't think in the history of me buying a Mac, I've never caught a virus of any kind. I ain't got to do that Norton antivirus bullshit. None of that, darling. What else is happening here? Aside from the drum processing. Got this lead. This is a Serum preset? Oh yeah, this is a Serum preset. I think I bought Serum through Splice. They do that monthly thing where you it's like you pay a monthly price for it to use the plugin, but the monthly cost goes towards paying for the plugin. So it's like if you want to try it for just a month, you pay like the $10. But if you want to eventually own it, what is it, like lease to own type of shit, which is what I did. I just paid $10 a month until I finally owned Serum. And then through Splice also has like presets, like Serum presets that people make that you can download. So that's where this came from. This is called, I don't even fucking know. It disappeared. Where is it? Splice, intro chords, Rhodes. It's a Rhodes like emulator, but you put it up far enough in the octaves and you slam it. It sounds pretty nice, right? Put an EQ on it. I cut out all of these lows because you don't hear it. So it's like, why would I want that? Cut out all of these shits because it's not even really there, but just to make sure it's really not there. And then I push it through Valhalla to give it that nice like space, like 30%, 1 second. I take everything off, right? It sounds it low-key sounds basic. Oh, rent to own. Yes, you're right, Tyrone, rent to own. Don't it sound basic as shit? Nothing special about this sound. Add a little EQ. Oh shit, turned on right? Put it through the reverb. It sounds fucking magical now. And that's all I did. And because of the that high resonance that it has in there, let me pull the channel EQ back up again. So these notes right here are the reasons why it punched through the mix. These resonant notes. Because I really don't have to do anything for it to come through the mix. And then you pair it with like... I love this instrumental so much because it's like when I play certain parts on solo, it's like I forget like, yo, all of these sounds are like solid. And then these part chords, basic is good. Yeah, the cleaner that sound is, the more you can do to it. Let me see, this is another Pigments preset. Pigments is like one of my favorite plugins. I feel like every chance that I get to say something about Pigments, I do. Let's see. This preset is called Space Euphoria. There's a little asterisk next to it. I know I did some type of change. I have no idea what I did to it. There's a lot happening. The Pigments has like so many presets. Like these are just the keys. I mean, some sections have less than others, but like, look at this shit. These are just presets, right? And of course you can always create your own, but there's so much for you to like start with when you buy this plugin, which is why I love it so much. And I like that this particular preset kind of gives like its own rhythmic element. It's like its own little bounce on top of whatever the drums are doing. Right? It's doing its own thing. Has its own bounce. And then the bass would have its own bounce. and then everything else. So part of the reason why there's like a lot of movement in this track is because all of the different elements have their own sense of movement. At least that's what I feel. 77 Social. Hey, love. Welcome. Welcome to the Sunday stream. Shall we keep moving on? Do you guys have any questions? I know I've just been like yammering on. It's like so much happening. I still haven't even really gotten to nah, I'm pretty good. I haven't even gotten to the first chorus, really. I think the vocal production is where the fun really is. Let's see. So verse 1A. Yeah. We kind of went through most of the parts that were already played. Usually what happens at this point, it's just like arrangement. You just start dropping parts in and out and making executive decisions like what stays, what goes. So that's the start of the first verse, and then you start bringing in that energy. And then verse 1B. Ooh, what's that sound? Have a lot of leads happening here. I think, is it this one? I think it is. So, what is happening in this section? Oh, this is another serum preset from Splice. It's just constantly opening that filter right there. As you can see. Just really like how it sounds. And if I open up the MIDI, what's happening? It's a bunch of single notes. It's probably just a root notes. Pick an octave that's not conflicting with something else. And then let's see, a channel EQ. I took out some resonant EQs some resonant frequencies that I didn't like the sound of. Took out the low end, took out some of the highs, and then push it through Valhalla again. So if I were to turn everything off, and then I did a sample delay. Oh yeah, to kind of spread it out. So if you have headphones on, it should sound very centered, like in front of your face, kind of, sort of, right? By itself, like the preset itself sounds really, really good. Once you add in the EQ, take out some of those resonant frequencies, put a sample delay, do a Haas effect with the delay, and then push it through a reverb. Kind of creates like some nice space. And that's on top of some of the parts that we already had. With the perk chords. Oh no, that's muted. So that preset in itself also has like a rhythmic element too. So it creates another like a feeling of bounce, if you will. Let's see. My first question is, how many friggin' hours did it take to mix? I worked on this for 6 months. Like I can't really pinpoint like the exact amount of hours. It's like over the course of actual months. The instrumental was very nice. Thanks, 77. Appreciate you. I think I read that before. I'm sorry. I don't even know if I acknowledge it, but I'm acknowledging it now. What else is happening? Those perks are back in there. The hi-hats are back in. And then we come back to that other counter lead that we had before. Remember that? Remember this? Dun dun dun. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. Versus. So I'm always kind of going back and forth between like those two leads That way you just kind of, it just gives you so much more to work with when you're arranging the track. So one of the main reasons why there are so many tracks is just for arrangement purposes. So it's the same chord progression. There's nothing like changing within the chord progression in itself. But when you give yourself a lot of these sounds to work with, and if you don't want like a crazy muddy ass mix, you just have to be really deliberate about like where you place things and when you place things and for how long. Dun dun dun. And then we get to the first chorus. So the energy definitely picks up here. All right, so what's happening here? I changed up the drum programming. I added some energy with the drums here. So especially with the kick. By itself, it doesn't sound like much, right? It doesn't sound like much at all. It's kind of like an old school, like 80s type bounce. Yeah, my name is Nishi. Yeah, da 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 da. Yeah, da 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 da. Right? It's really just kind of classic. It's just a lot of bounce. Right? And then you add in the cinematic strings are back in here. And then you add these bouncy chords again. Another set of strings. Oh, these are actually muted. All right. You can see like some of these even though I put them on solo, they're not turned on because in the middle of like trying to arrange it and going back and forth between if I want it here or not, I'll like mute separate sections of like the MIDI. So yeah. So if I put it on solo and it doesn't play and it's just like grayed outs because I individually muted it for like arrangement purposes. And the pad is also still there. Like by itself, it sounds like really cinematic, which is what I was going for. And that same lead that we did before, same notes, but I changed the instrument for this one. Wait, did I? No, I think I just copied it over. Right, add everything together. Yeah, I really like how the drums are though, not for nothing. Dun 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 dun. Nefertiti got that Uncle Luke bounce. Was that from Snowfall? No, I'm thinking of Jerome. Never mind. I'm thinking of Jerome. Not the place, nor time. So that is the chorus. And I believe verse 2A. Oh yeah, I took out hella parts for this one. And then it goes back to its regular theme. Now the reason I kind of did that was for the vocals. I just never thought that you'd be this time. All those nights and all those fights. Never thought I'd end up losing sight of on my mind because of you. So that's kind of why I dropped out a lot of stuff for that one section, because I wanted the vocals to really come through or cut through or be the focus, be the focal point. So it's like, I just never thought that you'd be this time. All those nights and all those fights. And then we come back to normal right after that. But I really like that section, just dropping everything out. So we take a look at that. So I did come in with a different bass, because you'll see like right here, it's muted. I muted that section. Originally, I just wanted it to be really bare, but I felt like it was too bare without a low end, which is why I just did like a sustained bass note. And then what plugin did I use for that? I used this plugin that I saw in SoundJC. It's such a basic bass plugin, but it's so good. It's called The Sub. That's it. It's just called The Sub. I thought it was clean. I've used it before to be able to like punch through on like the phone. And again, did some EQing, took out the subs, the highs, and then I put a gain utility on there, but only to use this feature right here for phase cancellation. Unless this is probably the same bass I used in the beginning. I don't know. Because technically I wouldn't need that on because there is no bass playing. I think in the midst of like arranging and just having everything like there, it's just turned on because I think I was experimenting on whether or not I wanted the bass here in a section or not. And then on top of all the other cinematic shit's happening, what is this lead for? Oh yeah, that's a different pigments thing, is it? Let me see. Is it gonna open? Yo, my computer's on fucking overload right now. Alright, so this preset is called Reverse Box. And it's really fucking pretty. Again, a Rosetta EQ, clear out the Rosetta EQ, just messing around with it so it can sound nice within the mix. Pro Q3, did I use it? Yes. Took out the lows, a sample delay, and I only use sample delay in Logic for the Haas effect so that it like spreads it out. So if I turn all of these off, it still sounds really nice. Like the preset is just really gorgeous. And if I add everything back in, and I just kind of left it as is. I didn't even put this through a reverb. I'm pretty sure the effects on this naturally has some type of reverb thing happening. It does. It has like a reverb thing right here. Let's see, did I do anything else different? These strings. Yeah, just a really gentle low cut, clear out that low end to make room for this bass. Is there any leads on here? Nope, that's it. All right, cool. So that's that section. That's that section. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. She said box. And then I kind of brought back a lot of the other elements. That lead. That little bouncy synth thing happening. What is lead 5? There's so many leads. Okay, that's what lead 5 is. But and then those bouncy perk chords. And that other counter lead come back in. Now what I did here differently in the second chorus is I pretty much kept most of the things the same, I believe. Let me see. The first chorus, yeah, I kept mostly everything the same from here to here. Let me see, because sometimes I add extra shit in there. All right, so the only extra thing that I added in here is a shaker for the drums, so it adds in a little bit more energy. Because we're starting to get to the end of the song, so it's like I personally want to start adding like more of a bounce. So now there's actually a shaker here. That shaker was not there before for this chorus section. If you guys can see where I'm highlighting at with my mouse. hear something else. Do I hear something else? No, I'm bugging. And then we have this intense ass riser here. I think it's the same one that I used before at the beginning, except I don't think I did anything with this. Let me see. Whoops. Let me see. Did I not do anything with this? No. I don't know why the gain utility's on there. But yeah, nothing happened with this transition. I used it earlier before. I didn't do anything. In particular, in this portion of the track, other than to have it lead into the bridge. Oh, should have took it off solo. And then there's a lot happening up here. You'll notice there's like a bunch of these are just like randomly muted. And it's because I was just playing around with like what I liked arrangement wise for the bridge. We got this coming back in. We have the first lead over here, but it's not playing in the second half. I think I have the counter lead for the second half. Right? And then same as this, messing around with like arrangement. So I had lead 5 come over here, but not over here. Let's see. I took out the classic pad. I took out the synth here, added it over here. The drums come back in, right? As you can see, I took the bass out completely. Drums come in second half with the layered snare. It was just a lot of messing around with arrangement. So a lot of these instruments aren't necessarily new. They're just kind of like arranged differently. And then I also did something with the drums. I went a little extra with the drums towards the end here. Give it like a little fill. Right? Right? Just to lead that into the next portion. So a lot of intricate planning with the drum programming, because I decided not to use a riser to transition into the last chorus, which is what I had the drums for. Like you'll hear that as it transitions, you won't hear a riser like you did for like the other parts from the bridge into the chorus. So if I start kind of halfway through the chorus before it, and now by the time we get to this portion of the song, I don't know about you guys, but like the energy is through the roof here, right? I went a little bit more ape shit with the drums. I added hella stuff. Can't get my zoom right. So I added some more percussion everywhere. The drums were really important to me here. So turn up the volume for you guys. We have that in the background if you guys can hear it. Dun, dun, dun. Right? We also have these shakers. It's just adding more bounce, way more energy. And as you can see, I have this panned a little bit to the left. This one's a little bit more to the left. And then we have these. This is a different rhythm completely, right? Digga, 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 digga. And this is panned to the right, as I said. It just adds more energy. And then you pair that with your hi-hats. The layered snare. This kind of just like that old school. It's like an old school 80s type of bounce to it, right? You add your bass. It's just way more energy than what we started out at. And if I let it keep playing, and I drop out that lead, I come back with that other counter. Right? For the second half of it. And then we end it off. All right, so before we get into the outro, any questions, guys? How we holding up this Sunday, this beautiful Sunday? You guys are chilling? I'm chilling too. But yeah, what I like about these pulse strings is that there is a little bit of like a tail to them, which was really nice because it helped create its own reverb tail to kind of like lead into the outro. Right, it has its own little decay tail that I really like. And then you'll notice up here, let me move my face out the way. You'll notice up here, there's another tempo change towards the end with like that piano solo that I actually kind of played freestyle and I cannot recreate it again. And I literally had to go in and like move the MIDI notes to match the vibe. But I freestyled the piano portion at the end. Can't recreate it unless I print out the music sheet from Logic. I decided to change the tempo to, let me see, 106. So it starts off at 116, jumps to 130, and then it jumps down to 106 for the piano outro, but I really don't think it really makes a difference. I just changed the tempo so that I can get the feeling that I was going for. There are some more transitions in the final version of the song, but I ended up adding those transitions in the other project. That was the vocal production project. Yeah, and I did some extra stuff to the instrumental, like the final mix of this project. When I bounced it out to the other one, I did some stuff to it again, just to complement the vocal. So if we start back from over here. What is that? What was that playing? I don't know, my bad. It's like my favorite portion of the song. And that's how the song ends. Now, this is like a regular, like piano, stock piano, Logic, the Steinway Grand. Da, 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 da. The only thing about this, what did I do to process? I didn't do anything to really process this, other than I did do some things to process this. I put it through Valhalla. Anything before Valhalla, I did not do. If you guys are looking on like the side of my screen here, it's like Valhalla is where I kicked in. Everything else is just like the shit that Logic pulled up. I did a very gentle EQ at the end to take down some of those highs. Why? I really don't know. I just thought it sounded better. And then I wanted it to be louder without pushing the actual volume knob up. So I just put a gain utility and actually put an extra 7 dB on there. And as you can see, I did play around with the idea of a resolving chord, which is like right here. Oops, if I unmute that. Hold on, click it back here. Magnificent. Thank you, love. I was in my classical bag. Right? So there is a resolving chord, but because we know our music theory, I decided for the final version, I was not going to have that resolving chord because the resolving chord is an A minor. However, the first note of the song is an A. So technically speaking, if you put this on repeat, the last chord is the first chord. So that was done very intentionally. So if I were to put my loop on and unmute everything, if I started from the piano solo somewhere, it should resolve on the first note of the song. Oh, my bad. Failure. I thought I scrolled to the beginning. Totally messed that moment up. All right, let's try it again. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. One more time. Right, that's the last chord is the first, so it technically makes a perfect whatever the fuck if you were to put the song on repeat. And I believe that is pretty much it for the instrumental. As far as the amount of tracks that I used to make this was, if I turn off global, let me see. The actual number of tracks used, let me see, minus all of these muted stuff here, and this one, 34 tracks. So we have 34 tracks for the instrumental. Woo! And we're gonna move on to the vocals of it, darling. The vocal takes and all of the good stuff, all the fun stuff on that one. Any questions, comments, concerns? I definitely didn't answer my guy back. We good to go, guys? We can open up the next project. Okay. Let's see. Tyrone says, can you please replay the resolve chord? Like the official resolve chord of the piano or the loop back? Piano or the full loop back from the piano portion? My landlady literally called me right after you played it. Oh, okay. All right, let's we could do that real quick. That's no problem. There is no problem, darling. So much happening. So much happening in this project. All right, so I'll play the resolving chord in general, and then I'll do the loop back thing again. So let's unmute that. It just reminds me of my days in fucking music school and shit. Everybody's fucking recitals and whatnot. No problem, no problem. And in case you missed it, I'm gonna do it without. Basically what the actual song sounds like, which is why I left out that resolving chord, because that resolving chord is technically the same as the first chord. So to make that perfect loop, that musical loop that kind of leaves you desiring it to loop back up again. Gets you in your feels, right? Perfect loop. Musically, perfect loop. All right. Shall we can move on to the vocal. To the vocal project, darling. So actually we can keep the screen on. Open recent WTG box. Close. Don't save. Better not do a goddamn thing. Now this one, the last time I tried to open it on Wednesday, took a little while. Okay, maybe it's gonna take a little while. It's gonna take a little while to open. So Beethovenish. Yeah, I went through a phase of, well, it's not a phase. I can play piano. That's the thing. I can actually play. But I'm not like the classical beast I really want to be. I'd have to really pay an instructor to get to that level, and I'm on a fucking budget right now. So I'll just I'll do the best that I can. Yeah, this is gonna take a while. Can you guys see some of the plugins that it's trying to load? Can you guys see that? Yeah, apparently I swear my mouse is acting so silly. Can you see that? The fact that this blue part is still only right here really kills me. All right, let's try to zoom out. Think I did it. All right, perfect. So let's see. To the vocals, the meat. Close the box. A phase. Yeah. All right, so the vocal takes. There are 97 tracks here. Okay. Not all of them are the vocals. I think the vocals are from track 3 to 92. Yeah. And then I don't know why are these muted. I think I was just like experimenting with some of these. Oh, no, these aren't used. What the fuck is this? This is definitely not used. But these sound effects, they're used in the final. I think when I was exporting out some of these stems for the remix, I muted a lot of stuff. Because I am quite positive. Yeah, I definitely use these. So these are all used. I don't know if you guys remember I said during the last time that there were some extra like ear candy transitions that I added in after the fact, and I added it to this project instead. And I did some stuff to the instrumental. So before we carry on exactly to the vocals, what I did to the instrumental was in let's see. So I have two versions of it. The top one, I guess, was the first mix just to get the vocals down. And then I guess I went back into the other project, did some tweaks. And what I did here was some automation. If I open up the automation lanes, where did I do the automation at? Yeah, so I did some high cuts, some filter opening and closing around in these sections here, around verse 2A, to further kind of drive home the point that I want the vocals to be the focus. Whoa, mad loud, my bad. My bad. So I closed the filter in this particular section. Then I open it back up. Right? That was for the vocals. So I did that after the fact. That wasn't in the other project. And then same for over here. Right? For the bridge. So, yeah. I did that for the final portion of that, just to kind of finish off the instrumental. And then I did some more automation for the filtering over here too. And these last bits of tweaks, really for the vocals, So let's put that on mute and let's close up these automation lanes. God damn, Nefertiti, that's a lot of plugins. Yeah, yes it is. It's a lot of plugins. If I open up the mixing window, like this is what we're looking at here. So I do not be talking about my ass when I say like, guys, you gotta work on your mix, you know? It's like people really, you gotta work on your mix. Like I didn't know how to do this shit like 2 years ago. The world of YouTube and 343 Labs. All right, let's start. Let's first of all, let's close this because that's mad intimidating. It only looks cool after the fact. Let's see. Let's just take it section by section, right? Oh, take that off. Section by section like we did before. I'm gonna probably leave the instrumental on. Right. We have our leads. These are our vocal takes. The vocals come in.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time. Went too fast, should've went slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go. I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time. Went too fast, should've went slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go.
All right, cool. Figured we just get through that first portion. So, what is happening under the hood, shall we? Shall we take a look? So the intro vox here. Let's kind of mute the instrumental here. Let's bring it to the section.
I should've known things weren't right.
As you can see, there's hella plugins over here. So I'll go through, and this is just the intro. Let me see if everything else kind of, it's mostly the same for a lot of these. A lot of takes. All right, so we got this layer.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time. I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time. I should've known.
So what we have here is we have the main vocal here, with the same vocal recorded again, but I did it an octave lower. And I mixed it in, which is why it's so low. And then we also have two whisper tracks that are panned super left and super right. They're just supposed to add in some air frequencies. They're not really meant to be heard, but it's just it's meant to accent it. So if I play it by itself, headphones recommended. I'm not going to really change the mix too much volume wise in the stream just because I don't want to fuck up the project, but I'll boost it up as much as I can. So that's a whisper track to kind of put some air frequencies in there. And then some harmonies towards the ending of the phrase to kind of build up the ending of that phrase. So let's see. We take it, we listen to it from here to here.
I should've known it wasn't time. I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
Let me take that out so you guys can hear it soloed.
I should've known it wasn't time.
And as you can see right here, the harmony isn't the whole phrase. So we have the partial phrase here and then the second half of it here as well. So all of that is like very intentional because the idea is to build the track, right? So it starts off with a layer and I'm constantly adding layers, taking away layers and just building more and more and more to kind of create like the bigness of the track, but also trying to be mindful of not overdoing it, which, you know, I probably definitely over fucking did it at this rate, right? So, and we have fade ins and fade outs on every single audio take. We do not wuss out on the fade ins and fade out. Every single vocal take in here has a fade in, a fade out. All of these shits, fade in, fade outs. I could literally zoom in anywhere. You will see fade ins and fade outs. I take out all the breaths individually, my goddamn self, no plug in. Fade in, fade outs. Not being lazy on none of this shit. Right? You could zoom in anywhere in this track. Anything audio, fade in, fade out. Tyrone, this is for you. This is for you. Fade in and fade out, because if you don't, that clicking sound, it adds up. And across multiple layers, damn, there's more. Across multiple layers, like not fading and fading out, it definitely adds up. So let me zoom it back out because I don't know where the fuck I went with it. So yeah, that's like the individual vocal takes and what was happening for the intro. Now let's talk about plugins. For the most part, all of my vocal plugins had the same set of parameters that was just kind of copied and over across multiple different channels. And then if there was something I needed to tweak individually on one, then instead of having it stacked, I did have it on individual parts of it. Just because you can sing it in one breath doesn't mean you should, FYI. Because I could definitely sing this whole phrase in one breath, but for final mixing purposes, probably not recommended. So what's in the vocal chain? Let's talk about it. So start off with a NS1 noise suppressor, which is basically a noise gate. I like this plugin. It was regular, it was cheap. I'm not the biggest fan of Waves, which is why I don't have a lot of their plugins. I think this is the only Waves plugin I have on my computer. And I like it because it's so straightforward. You see what you see.
I should have known things weren't right. I should have known it wasn't time.
I like it. It's one knob. You see the meter. You see what it's pushing down. It's straight to the goddamn point. And then I also threw in Soothe 2 to control some resonant frequencies instead of manually doing it.
I should have known things weren't right. I should have known it wasn't time.
And then after that, I have 3 instances of Pro Q3. Let's see why the fuck I did that. All right, so I did a low cut here for the first one. For the second one, I did another semi-low cut with a little bit of a boost in like the mid-highs or the high mids, whatever the fuck that's called. Let me see, 1, 2. Oh, okay, no, I only used 2 Pro Qs. And then I used the de-esser to control some sibilance.
I should have known things weren't right. I should have known it wasn't time.
As you can see, it catches it in the green. And when you have multiple stacked layers, maybe that one layer doesn't sound like it's a lot of S's, but if you have multiple stacked layers and you're saying that one word multiple times stacked together, that S is definitely gonna come through. And then I did some series compression with an LA2A from UAD. I used that to control like the first set of dynamics and then this one to kind of smooth it over. And then I finished it off with a touch of auto tuning to pitch it.
I should have known things weren't right. I should have known it wasn't time.
As you can see, this meter is gonna move a little bit more than this one, which is kind of like, you know, series compression.
I should have known things weren't right. I should have known.
Actually, I'm sorry. This one should be moving more than this one.
I should have known things weren't right. I should have known it wasn't time.
And of course, the auto tune is just to kind of tighten things up. That was mostly the vocal chain. I would say for this effect here, for the low vocal, I pretty much kept things mostly the same. I used the NS1, the Soothe 2, the Pro Q3 to kind of clean up the lows and the highs. A compressor, threw that on there. And then, of course, I did throw on the auto-tune, and the auto-tune is what I used to pitch it down that octave.
I should have known things weren't right. I should have known it wasn't time.
And if I were to turn it off, of course.
I should have known things weren't right. I should have known
it wasn't time.
And then because I thought you stopped singing. And then for that low vocal, I did throw on that stock distortion because I love it so much. If I turn it on and off, it's a little softer.
I should have known things weren't
Off.
right. I should have known it
On.
wasn't time.
Now, forgive me if things are a little bit on the quiet side when I'm playing like the individual tracks. It's because that's how it's mixed. I do try to boost it when I do solo it out. I'm not changing the volume levels. It took too long. And then let me see the whisper tracks. Kind of the same thing. The NS1, Pro Q3, what I do with that? I cut off a lot of the lows because I'm not looking for that. And then just like a really gentle auto tune just to tighten it up. Let's see. I threw it and then I pushed it through bus 2, which has another Pro Q3 curve to control some of that, and another Valhalla, a Valhalla vintage reverb. I use that shit on everything. It's like Frank's hot sauce for me. Let me see what reverb that I use for this. I pushed it through a bus, which had a flanger. I threw it through a flanger, and then after the flanger, I threw in like an EQ to like clean that up. I liked how that sound. And then bus 2 is just my reverb. And I think I pushed a lot of tracks to bus 2. That was like my main reverb. So instead of loading up Valhalla 10,000 times, because I loaded everything else up 10,000 times, I just loaded it up on bus 2. It's kind of like all over here, if you guys can see it. Hopefully you did before I close it out. And
I should have known things weren't right.
if I were to solo let me see, the flanger one. Let me see what that sounds like.
I should have known.
Yeah, hear that?
Things weren't right. I should have known it wasn't time. I should have known things.
So I had a lot of the vocals being pushed through that flanger, whatever the fuck effect. I don't know. I just kind of liked what it did to the final vocals. Added like a little bit of an electronic-y type of vibe to my vocals without going overboard. LMAO, you overdid it. Maybe. Nah, I did the fucking thing. Let me breathe it into the mic. Let's see. And then I do believe that these are mostly the same as well. Let's see. Come on.
Went too fast.
Yeah, these are mostly the same.
Slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go, 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 go.
I should've known things weren't right.
And I did some more like vocal processing on this section because this is the section where it really started getting brazy, you feel me? So if I bring the instrumental back in for this section,
I should've known things
right?
weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time. Went too fast.
So that's the part of the instrumental where those cinematic strings start coming in and it just starts getting like really, like, I don't know, really tense, yeah. Let me see, intro pre-hook, goddamn. All right, so NS1, Sooth 2, Pro Q3 twice, Pro DS, auto tune. All right, so I threw in some Rosetta EQs at the end. I did 2 of them because I was really specific about how much I really wanted to just like slam the effects of my vocals with those. And then I used another Pro DS towards the end of this chain to control some more sibilance in that one. Let's actually solo that one and like play it. Right? And instead of pushing it to a flanger bus, I put the flanger right on it to get more of that effect.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
All right. And what does this do?
I should've known things.
Basically, I doubled it up from the looks of it. Looks like I dubbed it up. And then we have, let me close this out. And then we have a bunch of other takes. Throw it to the left, throw it to the right.
I should've known things weren't right.
And then we have the low vocal octave.
Went too fast. Should've went slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go. I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't.
Right. And then the fun part, a lot of the the fun effects that I did in the track, they were all after the fact because they took way too much time. I had to watch hella fucking YouTube videos. So we have this section here. Let me see.
Now you gonna know where to go.
Right, that's the part that leads into the tempo change. So in order to do that vocal effect, that vocal stutter, what I did was, I don't know which one it did. I'm just going to do it based off of the color. I'm assuming I took the vocal take from this green one here. Hey, Perculum, what's up, love? Thanks. How are you? How long have you been in chat? I've already gone through like the first project. We're on the second one. Appreciate the donation. I'm gonna buy a cup of coffee with that. So for this section, I'm going based off of color of what I can remember. So I'm pretty sure I took this vocal take before I processed it, copied it down to both of these, and just chopped it up. I basically did a vocal chop of my own vocals for these, and I did some automation. So if we listen to it again. Right? Headphones recommended. So I'm going to assume that this vocal stutter is just chopping it up with the low vocal. Right? And then this vocal stutter is the one that's like kind of like a higher pitch. Headphones recommended because it is going back and forth. Okay. Let's open up the automation lane to see how we did that, if I can remember it. All right, so this is still just the intro, guys, right? You see all these little lines in here, these little faded lines. That's the automation to kind of create that. So, all right, so I did a lot of, let me see. First of all, let's look at the chain of the plugins that we have. I have, what is this? Little Altar Boy, Sound Toys, and some Valhalla Vintage Reverb. The gain. What did I do with the gain? I think the gain I went back and forth on, did I? Let me see. Yeah. So if you can see everything, there's a lot of automation happening. So we have automation on all of these, which is what these lines are on the graph here. Let me remove my face. Let me see. And then the tremolo is the last one. So as we're going through it, if you look at Little Altar Boy, the pitch and the formant are going up. If you look at it over here. Right? And then for Valhalla, which is the next one up in the chain, the mix is also going up as it's progressing. See? Which is why it sounds like it's just kind of being lost in space a little bit. And then the next one up in the chain, because I'm just following it in order, would be the gain. And what is the gain doing? The gain is slowly decreasing, if you guys see that knob moving. Right, it gets quiet, right? And then the last one in the chain would be the tremolo plugin, which is a stock plugin for Logic. And the rate is what's going to be changing throughout that transition. It's going faster. Which basically what the rate is going to do is it's making it go faster as it transitions from left and right speaker. Let me see. A good old cup of Joe for sure. Same. Just trying to down this gigantic protein shake I made. Sheesh. Don't hurt yourself. So that is how that was created, right? With these plugins. What else did I do? Because there's definitely more things done. I did all of these within the automation lane so that we can get like some smooth lines going. As you guys can see, like some of these lines here. If I turn it off, you'll notice that some of these are different colors. I did that on purpose so that I can remember what the hell I was doing with those. And what I was doing with those, and the reason why those are different color is, I believe these are different gains. Let me see. Okay, so these are actually pitched differently. So this blue one right here, if you look at this top corner, if you see my mouse, I transposed it down -1 semitone. This other one is +1 semitone. This one is minus. This is probably plus, minus, plus, minus. So I did like an up and down transposition of the vocal chops in between here. So if I turn off all of these plugins, and then I'm gonna add the plugins one by one while I'm playing through this. Actually, let me give it some time, like an extra bar at the end as I add them on. Little altar boy. Valhalla. The gain. Tremolo. Right. The reason why I had the volume kind of decrease is because there's a riser in the track in which the volume increases, right? So I know I wanted this vocal stutter to kind of fade out by the time the main beat enters in. Why isn't this? Of course not. I've been having issues with this Zoom since forever. Any questions, guys? I've just been chit-chatting it up. Let's see, what are you guys saying? Come on. Come on, be a big boy. Pro tip, hold your breath and just gulp. All right. What kind of protein shake are you drinking that is that disgusting? My protein shakes don't ever, my protein shakes are, phenomenal. But then again, I don't know. I like throw mangoes, banana, protein shake, almond milk, put it in the blender. Maybe if I want some extra sweetness, just add a tablespoon of honey. What are you guys doing over there with your protein powders? Make it work for you. Because if it doesn't taste good, you might not really eat it. Gotta season it up with fruits and veggies. Let me not get distracted. Let's bring it back to the screen. All right, you seem like you guys are chillaxing. And then from there, let me see. Yeah, the transitions are in the actual song itself. So if I take all of that out and include the instrumental, right? We got that tempo change after that vocal stutter. And just like the last project, I have the portions labeled out at the top, as you guys can see. Oh, let me move my face. That verse 1A, 1B.
Can't believe I barely made it out alive.
All right, so actually, let me just keep playing it.
You had me lost and caught up in your life. You said you'd always have my back, instead you always held me back. Now I don't know where I'm at or where I'm supposed to go. I should have known things weren't right. I should have known it wasn't time.
All right, bet. So most of the vocal processing is pretty much the same throughout all of these tracks, with the NS1, Sooth 2, 2 instances of Pro Q, a Pro de-esser, whatchamacallit, the series compression, serial compression, whatever the fudge. And then auto tune at the end of the chain to like tighten it up. And then I push everything through my reverb. I can't talk. And then I also push it through that flanger effect bus to give it like a touch of electronic feel, but without having it be too much. I did do some stuff with the vocals as far as processing. We have this one section. Where is it? All right. I know what it did. Dun, 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 dun. Let's mute the instrumental.
Can't believe I barely made it out alive.
So basically that alive right there, I had to take this and drop it down into its own track. So I took one word, okay? Can stretch this out to the whole project. I took one word, created its own separate track so that I can run it through its own reverb so that it stood out. So I took that and I pushed it through a bus 5, which has the Rosetta EQ to kind of clean up the vocals coming in, a sample delay to create the Haas effect, a Pro Q3 to clean up the low end, a tape delay. This is a stock plugin, and then Valhalla to create that alive that you hear. So I just took it from the original take itself, cut it at the right point, and I put it on its own track so that I can get that that effect that you hear at the end of it, so where you just kind of hear like the echo. Right. Why are you doing that? If we keep going.
You had me lost and caught up in your lies.
Same thing with this. Created a completely separate track for it just so I could process it differently. I put it through mad shit. The NS1 again. Another instance of LA2A. Auto-tune. Rosetta EQ. Oh, I use Auto-Tune Pro in this bitch. Okay, cool. Rosetta EQ. Haas effect. I put the Valhalla on the chain to affect it directly. And then I threw in another sample delay again to give it that, to kind of just push it out there. So it's like you hear it, but it's not really meant to be in the front of the mix. Come on, bro. Close out.
You said you'd always have my back, instead you always held me back. Now I don't know where I'm at or where I'm supposed to go, 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 go.
And most of these are just dubs. These are just like multiple vocal takes. So multiple vocal takes that I like pan left and right when I want to make the sound wider. So when the beat first comes in, it's pretty solo up until like this portion right here.
Can't believe I barely made it out alive. You had me lost and caught up in your lies. You said you'd always have my back, instead you always held me back. Now I don't know where I'm at or where I'm supposed to go.
And basically at this point, this is where the drums come back in for verse 1B in the beat itself, which is why I doubled up the energy of my vocals.
You said you'd always have my back, instead you always held me back. Now I don't know where I'm at or where I'm supposed to go.
Right? I should have known. I'm mad silly. And you'll see from this section over here, I do have multiple takes. This was also an arrangement thing. So I had this section, I had multiple takes, multiple layers of this pre-chorus, but I decided not to use these takes here because I wanted to kind of build out the layers towards the end of the song where there's supposed to be like a lot more energy and action. Let me see. Tyrone says, this tune is so bouncy. I love it. Thanks, love. Sweet effect. That alive reverb tail. Yeah, I love it.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
So we did those layers, and then now it's time for the hook, which, let me see what we got going on here. Oh my God, where did I go? So we're over here. No, we are over here, actually. Now, there are a lot of layers to the, so this part here, that's the first hook. This is the second hook. And then towards the end is the hook again. You'll notice that a lot of these are grayed out, and it's because I just kind of muted a lot of shit along the way for arrangement purposes. Let's see. So we can go into here, listen to this portion.
Went too fast, should've went slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go, 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 go.
So for this chorus, I did everything. I did a hard right, hard left for these right here. And then you're gonna definitely hear that deep vocal happening over here.
Went too fast, should've went slow.
It kind of adds that low end back into my voice. Of course, everything is blended. And then we also have that, but like a high portion. Like same chorus, same processing, but I put it an octave up. And everything is blended in. So it's like it's there and you'll hear it if you look for it. But when you first listen to it, you won't necessarily hear it.
Now you gone and I don't know where to go, 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 go. Went too fast, should've went slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go, 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 go. I just never thought that you'd be this time. All those nights and all those fights.
So yeah, oh, I muted my vocal stutters. Hold up, let's bring that shit to fudge bag. You heard? I worked really hard on those stutters.
I just never thought that you'd be this time. All those nights and all those fights. Never thought I'd end up losing sight of all my might 'cause of you. You said you'd always hold me down and said you always kept me down. Now I need to figure out on where I need to go, 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 go.
All right, bet. Let's go over this section. Just forgive me as I like migrate through this fucking project, cause mad scrolling up and down. Where am I? Where am I for real? Verse 2B, where you at? Where are you? Where are you? Down here? Ah, yeah, down here. So the vocal stutter. The vocal stutter, I used it on top of like that riser transition that was originally in the beat, just to kind of like bring some like ear candy. Again, a lot of these like ear candy vocal effects stutter things, I did that as like the last finishing touches. Like all the takes were done, all the vocal takes were done, everything was done. I just went back in and spent another God knows how many hours tweaking and adding in these vocal stutters. So
I just never thought that you'd be this type. all those nights and all those fights.
So what I did in this project that I didn't do in the instrumental project, I went over it at the top of, starting this section of it, was I closed off the filter, right, to the beat, which is not in the original instrumental. See, if you hear it, and the point of that was to close it down for the vocals to come in at that particular section so that it really just like comes, like it just really brings it home. Like, I just never thought that you'd be this time. If I just bring it back with the beat real quick.
I just never thought that you'd be this time.
And it just opens up. So just to kind of make sure that you guys remember that portion of it. Going back down to verse 2A, and this, before we get to the vocal studies, let me see, what did I do with the vocals for 2A? I think most of it was mostly the same. I just really wanted to put that filter on the beat so that that particular lyric just kind of shines through. And it emphasizes like a change, right? The arrangement is mostly the same as the first verse, but it's different because the filter is thrown on it. So it's just like, it's constantly doing different things in the arrangement of the instrumental and filtering and whatever the fuck to just constantly keep shit interesting throughout the entire track, which is why I feel like I got away with doing a fucking 5-minute song. Let me see. I never caught the higher pitched one. Yeah. A lot of this you're not going to hear in the final version because everything is like mixed in. So I'm like boosting the volume like during the stream so that you can hear it, but it's one of those things where like you won't hear it unless you're looking for it, and a lot of songs actually do that. Like they do like that high pitch vocal and the low pitch vocal. They do the the whisper tracks in there as well. You have to actually really be looking for it to hear it, because the point of it isn't to be heard per se, but just to kind of add like harmonic information. All right, so I don't think the vocal processing too much was too different, I should say, for verse 2, other than just like layers and like ad-libs. Let me see what we got going on here.
I just never thought that you'd be this time, all those nights and all those.
I did do some harmonies left and right. Let's see. There's some left and right ones here towards the end of the phrases.
I just never thought that you'd be this time, all those nights and all those fights. Never thought I'd end up losing sight of all my might because of you. I just never thought.
Right. And then stacked it up with some harmonies through here.
I just never thought that you'd be this time, all those nights and all those fights.
If I take these out right quick so you can hear it.
I just never thought that you'd.
Wait, what? Trying to take out the main vocal. Where's that coming from? I just never thought that you'd be. Where is that coming from? Oh, over here. There we go.
I just never thought that you'd be this type, all those nights and all those fights.
As you can hear, this is not being pushed through a reverb at all, because I didn't think it really needed to be pushed through a reverb, personally.
I just never thought that you'd be this type, all those nights and all those fights. Never thought I'd end up losing sight of all my might because of you.
And then you guys are probably hearing some like weird little glitches at the beginning and at the end of the loops. It's just the way that the loop brace, the loop cycle, whatever the fuck. This is just the placement of it. And then I have some like ad-libs kind of thrown in there just kind of randomly.
Never thought I'd end up losing sight because of you.
Right, and you wouldn't really, you gotta look for it. Some of these shits you gotta look for.
Fights. Never thought I'd end up losing sight I might, cause of you. You said you'd always hold me down, instead you always kept me down. Now I need to figure out on where I need to go, 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 go.
Right? It's a lot happening. I love that vocal stutter there. Oh, I love it too. It's one of my favorite ones. We're gonna go over that shit for sure, for sure, for sure. I don't know what is with me in this phrase for sure, but it's for sure. And I guess the fun part is this vocal stutter. What I did was I just took the first word of I, which is over here, literally this section, like right here. I didn't want to zoom in, but yeah, this literal portion right here, I took it, I copied it down. You'll see there's a few parts that were muted, right? And they were muted because I was just trying to figure shit out, right? So you'll see like this over here. I don't know. I ended up not using it. So I took that, I copied it down, and I copied it down to two separate tracks, two of its own tracks. Mainly because I wanted this one to the right. Yeah, this one to the left, this one to the right. And I wanted to do like a back and forth thing, right? So if we listen to it.
I just never.
Hold up, let me give it some time.
I just never.
Maybe I should solo it out, my bad. So it's basically the word I chopped up. And I have it chopped up in a way where it's going back and forth very intentionally. I didn't want to automate it going back and forth, so I just put it on two separate tracks and then strategically placed it so that it's going back rhythmically on the grid. So for this one, what did I do with this? Basically chopped it up. Let me see if I did anything with the transposition of this. No, didn't do anything pitch wise. So we'll close that out. No automation either. So that's kind of the beauty of like not doing anything in the automation and just kind of doing it on the track itself. So let's see. I guess I did my regular vocal chain because I wanted the processing to be the same. And all I did in addition to was add decapitator, and I added little altar boy. So if I were to take these off, so if I took this off, you're probably going to hear it only in one speaker for this, right? And if we turn these back on, actually let's turn on just decapitator, right? Really push it through that distortion, and then I put on little altar boy. Again, you're going to only hear it in one side if you have headphones on. Then let's add in the other side, right? Right. And did I do anything different with these? With the processing of that one? Let's close this one out. I added the same thing, just a distortion, little altar boy. I'm curious to see though, did I do something different with each one? So this one is stutter 1, stutter 2. Yeah. So the pitch is dead center. The formant is different on one side. So the left side, the formant is on 5.7. And then the formant for the right side is on negative 7.5. And then they're both pushed through the same distortion for that. That's how you get those two different tones. And then that's just a transition into the literally just a verse 2.
I just never thought that you'd be this type. All those nights and all those fights. Never thought I'd end up losing sight of all my might 'cause of you. You said you'd always hold me down, instead you always kept me down. Now I need to figure out on where I need to go, go, go. should've known it wasn't time.
All right, so if you guys remember from, oh my God, why does this zoom in at the weirdest points? If you guys remember the first pre-chorus, I had some stuff muted over here for arrangement purposes. So these same vocal takes, I decided to layer them up and bring them out for the second pre-chorus, because this is where I'm starting to like build the energy of the track. So I'm adding in more and more layers, right? So for this particular one, you have the regular pre-chorus, which I think is just like the first 4.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
And then I added in more, just more. And I did some automation to the ends of one of these. I forget. I'm about to figure it out now.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
So if you hear that reverb tail, it like really, it's a little bit longer, right? And it's longer because I want it to be kind of like another built-in transition to push it into like the next section. And I think it's on the last 2.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
Yeah, so there's definitely some automation on these 2. So you can see that right here. I'm basically pushing it into the bus reverb more and more so that it just kind of gets lost into space. The tail becomes longer, and the tail essentially takes you into the next section of the song, which again, we're adding more and more layers to it. If you guys remember from the other project with the beat and how we started adding more drums to it, just adding more layers and just more complicated ass shit. Sheesh. What are you guys saying? I never did it yet because she blended in the mix. I love the. Okay, you guys are still here. You guys are just watching. Let's see. Let me take the solo off right quick, so you can kind of hear that reverb in context to the song. If you pay attention to like the pre-chorus, you just hear it. Just the tail just get really, really long, and it just takes you into the chorus again.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time. Went too fast, should've went slow. Now you're gone.
All right, so in the process of trying to make this track bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, there's a lot of shit that I muted along the way for, again, arrangement purposes. I took a lot of shit in, took a lot of it out, but I didn't want to like permanently delete anything, which is why a lot of it's grayed out in the timeline. So the first time the first chorus comes in, we only have like a few of these tracks here, right? The second time the chorus comes in, we have a few more. We still have the highs and the low parts of it underneath, so just kind of give it like more of like a supporting end. But the layers are getting more and more, right? Just like in the production, like I added, some more shakers by the time we started getting towards the chorus, towards the end. So I kind of did the same thing with the vocals, just kind of adding layers in more and more.
Should've went slow. Now you're gone and I don't know where to go. I wanna flow back. I want my soul back. Don't wanna go back. I don't know. I wanna flow back. I want my soul back. Don't wanna hold back. I don't know where to go. Went too fast. Should've went slow. Now you're gone and I don't know where to go.
All right. Let's see. The bridge. What the hell did we do here? Again, most of the same plugins are being used over and over again. Usually it seems as though like for some of them, I keep looking out the window because it's fucking raining. It's disgusting. For some of them, I added the extra effects after the fact. Now for this section, love it. Let's just kind of play this on its own.
I want my flow back. I want my soul back. Don't wanna go back. I don't know. I want my flow back. I want my soul back. Don't wanna hold back. I don't know where to go.
All right, so that is the bridge, right? I think the vocal stutters are like the coolest fucking part of like this breakdown, if anything. But as far as like the quality of the vocal, what I did with it was same vocal processing to clean it up like the rest of the track. I just added in like a few more plugins at the end to like change the quality of it. So I brought in this effect rack from Soundtoys. It's a preset. Don't think I just added this shit all on myself. It's a preset. It's called a thick transmitter. That's kind of, let me see. Let's actually just only play that one.
I want my flow back.
So it kind of gives it kind of like a, pushing it through like a radio distortion kind of a vibe. So if I turn off some of these plugins.
I want my flow back. I want my soul back. Don't wanna go.
If I take this off.
I want my flow back. I want my soul back. Don't wanna go back. I don't.
Right.
I want.
And the reason why that cutoff was because that's where the vocal stutters were.
I want my flow.
Add in, turn on the effect rack.
I want my flow back. I want my soul back. Don't wanna go back. I don't.
Right. It adds like this like distortion, reverby vibe. I threw in Pro Q in there because I really wanted that low end gone.
I want my flow back.
So I'm gonna turn it on.
Back. Don't wanna go back. I don't. I want my flow back. I want my soul.
Added in some resonance because I really wanted it to like sound a certain way. And then the last plugin was some distortion. Right now it's off. I'm gonna turn it on while it's playing.
I want my flow back. I want my soul back. Don't wanna go back. I don't.
All right. Let's close out of these. I think I pretty much did that for all of these. Yeah. So NS1, I did an effect rack on this one too. Same thing, the thick transmitter. Then I ran it through Decapitator, mix in some edge. This is a preset right here, if you can see it right here, guys. And then Pro Q3, I just copied over the same EQ curves, which is a really, really sharp low cut. Added some resonance in there. Let's see, I think I did the same for all of these, except the ones that are obviously labeled low and high.
I wanna flow back. I wanna flow back. I wanna go back.
And then you have the high one.
Don't wanna go back. I want my flow back. I want my. Don't wanna go back. I don't know. I want my flow.
All right, so vocal stutters. Let's get into it. So basically what I did was I took the original vocal take from over here. I literally just cut it, gave it its own lane, and chopped it between two tracks. So let's just put that on so you can hear it by itself. All right, let me see if I did anything automation wise. Ha, I did hella shit automation wise. Let me see. So I have both of them in the center, so they're not panned left and right. It just sounds dope as shit though. So let's see, we just did an NS1, it's in some auto tune. We're on the first one, so we had some Decapitator. I'm gonna turn all of these off and add them on one by one. So it looks like they're the same, but it's just a dub. So I'm gonna turn the second one off so you can hear it one by one, and I'll just add the plugins in. Oh, let's kind of change this up. Too long. So basically, that's just having the distortion on. I'm gonna turn the distortion off. Right? I might have did some pitch shifting in the actual audio. We'll check that after. So that's without the distortion. Decapitator, turn it on. Like I really pushed it in there. And then little altar boy, let's turn that on. As you can see, the format was just kind of, it was a random automation with this. I just kind of took my mouse and did whatever, right? Right. And then the tremolo, we'll turn that on. That's what's going to make it go left and right between your speakers. It also kind of helps contain the volume a little bit, I feel. And then I threw in the Rosetta EQ towards the end. I added some clarity, some presence, took out some mud so that you can actually tell in the final project that it's the word no, like I don't know. Turn it back, turn it on. And let me see. So that's what I did for like that processing of that. And I'm pretty sure it pushed itself. I pushed it into the, yeah, I did. If you pay attention to, I think this is the, well, you can pay attention to the knob over here on the side here. You'll see that the send knob gets pushed into the reverb more, but you can also see it on the timeline here. You can see it starts here and it gets pushed into the reverb more, which is why it sounds like it's getting louder. And then it gets pushed into the reverb. That's why it kind of creates like that longer tail at the end. If I close the automation lanes, let me see if I did any pitch shifting for the individual parts. Let's see. And usually I can only tell by if I just click it individually and then just check like the panel on the side here. All right, so I did. So I pitched this up one semitone, this very, very short stutter. I guess I muted that one. I guess I didn't need it. Oh, I think it's because I brought it down to here. This one is -1. This one's just regular. And then this is the dub. I wonder if that sounds any different. I must have processed that differently because that sounds much like darker, right? I think I wanted that to be darker while this one is brighter. It just kind of stands out. Same automation, because I know I pushed it into the reverb here just as much as I did there. I tried to match the numbers as best as I can, close enough, whatever. Let's see, this one seems a little bit different from, yeah, this one's different. So from here, we still have the decapitator on, same preset, mix in some edge. We have the effect rack. This one's called Vocal Sweet Sauce, this preset here. Added some distortion. I used the stock distortion for this one. I was just like, fuck it, right? And then the tremolo effect, which is what's bringing it, panning it left and right, bringing up that rate. So that was how that's done. Any questions, guys? Marcelo, how are you? Welcome to the stream. Just going through, is this your first time here? Let me know. Marcelo. Thanks for the fire emoji, Tyrone. Yeah, so Marcelo, if you are new here, I'm not sure if you know, I'm going through my latest single, WTG, available everywhere. And basically just how I produced everything from the actual literal ground up. So we went over the instrumental earlier in the stream. That was a completely separate project because it was pretty big. And then this project is just the vocal stuff and the vocal processing and the vocal takes. Ideally, I would want to put everything in one project, but it got to a point where it was just too big. It was just too big to put it into like one project. So yeah, that's where we are now. That's where we are at now. Let's see. Let's take this off right quick.
I wanna flow back, I want my soul back, don't wanna go back, I don't know. I wanna flow back, I want my soul back, don't wanna hold back, I don't know where to go. Went too fast, should've went slow, now you gone, now I don't know where to go.
All right, so we have this go stack here that I mixed in. Again, just ad libs to kind of push it into the chorus and also emphasize like we're getting loud, baby. We're getting mother loving loud. So this stack, let me see what it sounds like. Why is that like that? All right, fine. Corny. So nothing truly out of this world special about that. I just wanted that in there to support the goes that's over here as it's getting pushed into the last chorus.
Don't wanna hold back, I don't know where to go. Went too fast, should've went slow. Went too fast, should've went slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go. Went too fast, should've went slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go. I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
Now, as this is playing, there are a few things that were muted because I do remember I had to mute some things out to send out some stems. There's this one transition here before it gets to that little final drop that I really like. I'm gonna bring it back and play it for you.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
We're almost to the end, guys. All right, so at this point in the game, I mean, if you were here at the beginning of the stream, you know that the instrumental is layered at this time. We have a lot of shit happening. Jesus Christ, everybody calls me. How do I turn this off? Decline. Jesus. Work. Anyway. Classic. You would think by now I would know to like mute my phone. Where am I in the project? So much happening. Like I was saying, if you were here earlier in the stream, you would know that the production, like the instrumental itself, is getting stacked. So that means the vocals are getting stacked. For this last chorus, it was a matter of the same thing. I had a bunch of takes and I just muted constant layers for the sake of arrangement because I just wanted to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So you'll see that like throughout the, progress of the song, you have this section here that isn't using all of the chorus takes because it's all muted. And then once it gets to the final portion of it, it starts using more and more tracks and it starts building out until this final portion here, we're using all however many fucking stacks of layers here is happening. So if I bring it back to here and only just like play this little section here plus my vocal stutters.
Went too fast, should've went slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go, 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 go. Went too fast, should've went slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go, 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 go. Went too fast, should've went slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go, 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 go.
All right. So let's just get into that little weird little blip that we got, which is this little section right here. How did I do this shit? All right, so there's just a lot of automation happening. I don't know what vocal take that is. Something is reversed, and I know it's my vocals. I don't know what the vocals are. I'm really confused. I wonder which vocals it is. Let me see. Audio take 30, da 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 da. I'm really interested. What take is that? I'm sorry. I'm just gonna make a copy here right quick. Don't copy. Just take this. I need to see what this sounded like beforehand. So it was reversed. Bring it back. Whoops. Completely botched it. Take this off. I really don't know what that is. I think that's just some random shit I found on Splice. Not gonna hold you. I think that's what it was. All right, I'll try to Command Z my way out of it. Now a little beach ball is happening. Classic. All right. Let's see. Let me see if I... All right, so I wanted that in there because I wanted something else happening other than the repeat of the chorus again, right? Just whatever, something fucking interesting. So I threw that in there, and let's take a look at the processing. I think it was just something I found off of. It had to be something off of Splice, I think. No, you know what it is? I know what it is. It's the first word of the next. It's this. It's actually this, I remember. So it's actually this pushed through a reverb, reversed, and then created into this, and then I added effects to it. So it's more than likely this is a copy of the first word of the next phrase. I took it, pushed it through reverb, put it in reverse, and then added more processing to it. So the processing added to it was, again, decapitator, little altar boy, tremolo. So if I take all of these, if I turn all of these off, turn them on one by one, let's just kind of... Yeah, it's definitely the first word, right? And then turn on decapitator. I don't think I really did anything. I think I just put it on tube style, push the output, throw on punish. Right, turn that on. And then little altar boy, turn that on. So what I did was, if you notice, the format started at a point and then it like quickly went back to whatever the fuck, which creates that little effect towards the end. I'll play it again. Starts at 0. And it quickly went from like whatever number here to like -6, which creates that little weirdness. And then the tremolo just kind of controls the rate of how fast it goes from left to right speaker. So we'll turn that on. And that's that transition right there. All together. All together now. in there, guys. We're almost to the end. Almost to the end. Let's see. There's some ear candy dropped in at this point in time too. It's towards the end. I just found some random shit off of Splice. I had these sounds just kind of in there. That was in there. Play that through. And then this weird sound. Right. Take it off of solo. I don't know. I just wanted other shit there. Just something. Whatever the fudge, right? Also for the final layering of this chorus, I wanted to throw in this like vocal layer. So that's basically my voice. I just did hella shit to it. I didn't do anything crazy. NS1, Rosetta EQ again, auto tune, decapitator. I did a mean ass like curve off of just a stock EQ effect rack. I threw it. I don't know, this preset called basic vintage punch. I got tongue twister there. Valhalla, and then a whatchamacallit, sample delay, Haas effect, because I wanted it like wide. So if I were to turn everything off, right, as we listen to it, and I'm gonna turn everything like back on, you guys can take a listen to for yourselves. Actually, no, I should turn it all off. Turn it all off, I guess up until like the auto tune. It's like, it's almost like the transformation is crazy, right? And then we'll add a decapitator. Really distorts it. That channel EQ. Kind of control it. And then we're going to turn on that effect rack from Soundtoys. Valhalla. And then the Haas effect. And then it's mixed into the track of everything else. And for the final portion of this, this was another like transition thing that I added after the fact that was not in the other project that I really liked. And it was because the other project had like a riser that like built up to come to that final section, but I wanted like an impact sound, which is where this kind of came through. And I have it automated so that it very, very quickly like whooshes like through like the speakers, like left to right or right to left, whatever the fuck it is. So if you have headphones on, it's very quickly like whoosh, like from left to right. And I really like that. This adds like a nice impact on top of the other transition that was already in the song itself. So if I just solo that and the instrumental without the vocals, right, it just kind of gives like a finishing touch. I'm gonna bring it back again. Right. And then for the well, this isn't the final vocal processing because we still have that outro portion that everybody likes. That's like really emotional and shit. Let's see. The final vocal processing for this portion, right? We have this.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time. Things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
Right, and it gets pushed into the reverb at the end to give it like that, that finality. Yeah, whatever the fuck. Make it feel like it's at the end, okay?
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
Right, really push it into the reverb at that end right there. The first three plugins are pretty much the same. That NS1, the Rosetta EQ, the Auto Tune, and again, the capitator, channel EQ to really cut out those lows, just something basic, the Valhalla, and then a Pro de-esser to just kind of control that sibilance. And I'm gonna do the same thing where I'm gonna turn all of these off for the most part and then turn them back on.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
Right, I really push it on the auto tune. Decapitator on.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
The channel EQ.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it
I
wasn't
use a lot of the riser
time.
effects, dance hall, for sure. Valhalla.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
And as you can see, the automation for this was both for the mix and the decay. So I push it into the decay and then I back down off of the decay. So I'm just gonna play that again so you can see it.
Wasn't time.
And then the decay comes down. And I guess part of the reason why I wanted the decay to come down was because it's about to change tempo again for that final portion. And then the de-esser to kind of clean that shit the hell up.
I should've known things.
Because once you push it through like the decapitator, it does add more like harsh sibilance, whatever the fuck.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
And that's literally the end of the main part. It thought it was gonna loop again. And then we have the piano solo at the end, which I know you guys fuck with. This is what I know you guys fuck with. And it's also like my favorite portion as well. Hold on, let's bring it back a little.
I should've known things weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time.
That's essentially the end of the song. So for the end portion, we had that piano going. We had some sound effects. I just wanted some wind. Just wanted to sound so fucking like emotionally cinematic. Like, damn, where do I go now? Right, just some wind, ocean wind. Pump up the volume on that so you guys can hear it. And I wanted it, I guess the sample wasn't long enough, so I doubled it up. But you don't really hear that little clip, right? That portion of it. You don't really hear it while the piano's going. So sometimes you can be a little bit forgiving when shit doesn't sound too great. You trust the fact that the rest of the song is going to mask that. And then the little vocal lead here. It's low-key giving like Titanic sequel. Like it's even more of a tragedy now. I feel like it's so much more of a fucking tragedy now. Let's just loop that part and bring it up. So I have some hardcore fades on here because this is actually my vocal. Like I processed the fuck out of my own voice to get that. And I didn't really know how to control the dynamics of it. I just kind of did it off of a fucking whim. So this chain, again, NS1, Pro Q3, Auto Tune, Decapitator, Little Alto Board, Rosetta EQ, Valhalla, Haas Effect, Gain, right? Because as you can see, the waveform of this is like really, really quiet. So let's go through it all. I'm going to turn off all of these and just kind of bring it back to what it sounds like originally. I'm even going to turn off the auto tune. Just kind of bare my soul here. Oh, it's so low. I'm gonna pump up the volume of the stream. So that's me. I'm pretty sure I had effects on as I was recording it in my headphones, but it doesn't matter because the world of music production, I just blasted the auto-tune on that bitch. Like, I mean, like more than usual. Like I really pumped it through. Oh, this isn't auto-tune. This is auto-tune effects plus. Okay. So this is different from auto-tune. You can pitch it, but it adds some like nice distortion to it. So with just this on, and as you can hear, it already transform that ending vocal completely, almost as if it was like a synthesizer for real, right? Compared to it with it off. Really pushed it. I really pushed I pushed that shit through there. And then Decapitator, I'm gonna turn that on. Added on Little Altar Boy. I'm gonna turn that on too. I decreased the formant on this one right here. Rosetta EQ. Turn that on. Let's see. Tyrone says, I swear the way you processed it makes it sound like an instrument. I literally thought it was an oboe or something of that sort. Nah. I appreciate that. That's a big compliment. It's kind of like my first time trying to like just add a bunch of shit to my voice and make it sound completely different. And I guess in this type of context, because I've seen other producers do that, where they take their voice and they just completely manipulate it into something different that you would have thought was some type of synth, plugin, instrument, something. All right, so the next plugin we're gonna turn on is Valhalla. Let's turn that on, hear what it sounds like with it on, right? You have the mix up to 55%, a long decay, almost 5 seconds. We're gonna turn on the Haas effect, which makes it nice and wide. And then I think the gain utility. Oh, okay. So the gain utility, I just kind of used it to fade it out, actually. So I'm going to turn that on. And that's it, y'all. That's it. We're done. That is the complete breakdown of my single. WTG, baby. Actually, let's actually play it through, shall we? Let's play the whole thing through.
It wasn't time. Went too fast. Should've went slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go. Go, 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 go. I should've known these weren't right. I should've known it wasn't time. Went too fast. Should've went slow. Now you gone and I don't know where to go.
You know what I realized? There was a transition at the beginning I did not touch upon. I should end the stream here, but it's gonna bother me. So like right here, because I don't want to leave anything out. Okay, I don't want to leave anything out. So we have this part right here. Literally just a regular reverse of the first word, can't, pushed into the reverb, reversed it, and yeah, literally all that is. All that is. Let me turn on my headphones and see if I'm. Can't believe I barely made it out alive. That's all it is. It's just the first word, can't, push into the reverb, and then I reversed it, bounced it. I think I reversed it again so that the tail of the reverb comes first, and then it leads into the word can't. But yeah, that is really the end of today's stream. Just wanted to break everything down. Thank you, Tyrone, for rocking out with me pretty much the entire stream. And anyone else that's been here the entire time. If you've just been kind of sitting back, chillaxing. Shout out to anybody that maybe even be watching this on the replay. Tyrone says, after you finish, please type in Chris Isaac Wicked Game in YouTube search box. I will. Not on my stream. I will put it on my phone and go in front of the TV and eat after this. But actually, Tyrone, I'll hit you up on Discord about it, if anything. Yeah. 6 months. And I don't want to make it seem like it was so intricate and so difficult that it took me all those months. It was a process of I'm learning along the way while I'm making this track. It's like, I know what I want it to sound like in my head, right? So I'm learning along the way. I'm acquiring a lot of these plugins along the way. Like a lot of these plugins, like I've bought over the course of these months because I couldn't buy everything all at once, right? The Sound Toys thing, that was a last minute thing. They had like a 30-day trial. All right, I was like, I got 30 days to use all of these plugins, and then it kind of went on a decent sale, and I finally got the actual licenses to it, which is why I'm even able to do this stream, because that trial ended a long time ago, right? So it was a matter of like, I'm learning along the way. A lot of these vocal stutters, vocal effects, like I'm literally learning it from like these like YouTube shorts or like Instagram reels or like TikTok videos. I'm learning everything like as I go, which is why it was taking me a long time. And then also understanding like what's the problem with the mix? Like why am I not hearing the bass the way that I want to? Then having to research on how to clean it up myself and blah, 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 blah. So it took me a long time to do it because I was learning along the way. And I was also, you know, budgeting out how I'm acquiring these tools too. Because I know what I want it to sound like, and I want it to sound of a certain like level, quality. I just had a very, very specific sonic vision. So I was just like, if it's going to take me time, it's going to take me time. But yeah, yes, thank you, Tyrone. Really appreciate you. But I'll hit you up on Discord about that. Oh my God, I'm losing myself. But guys, if you are here, if you've watched this video, I really suck at saying this sometimes, but please hit the thumbs up on this thing. Usually if you are not subscribed, you can't even get into the fucking chat anyway, but hit subscribe, you know, don't just like sit there and just watch. I mean, I appreciate you watching, but subscribe. Don't just subscribe. I'll be back here again on Wednesday with a regular review stream. People submit their tracks. I listen to them. We comment together. We have some people that have been submitting for quite some time, and they have consistently improved over the course of the year, about a year that I've been doing the review streams. So that's really nice to have like returning people submitting their tracks and actually hearing their growth over time and just kind of seeing how everybody levels up. I love seeing it. And it's just a good time. It's something to do. Random Wednesday, midweek. Even though it's summer, I'm an adult. You know, we still gotta work and like do shit. But yeah, I'll be back here again Wednesday night. I'll schedule out that stream. And you guys have a good rest of your weekend and have a great, great Monday.
Let's go.
nigga to replace you. Don't be mad